Stop! Enough! Sean, stop. The podcast started, and my mic hated me yelling at you.
Oh God, I'm so sorry, everybody.
Yes, this is all your fault. Sorry. We're going through a lover's quarrel right now.
Yes, this is the lovers quarrel arc of our anime podcast.
Yes.
I'm disappointed in you, Josh Kuhn.
Oh no, Shika Senpai.
All right, we're done with this.
You told me not to say it, and I said it.
Hey, welcome to Lore Dump, everybody. Hey. Send it right there. Welcome to Lore Dump.
Yeah, Lore Dump is great. That's this thing that we're on here.
God fucking Christ. Yeah, this is a podcast where we build a world before your very ears.
That's right. Myself, the governor, a.k.a. Josh, and my good friend here,
the governess, Sean.
Can we rebrand?
That's how I'll be getting introduced from now on.
You're the governess. Yeah, I like that, actually, genuinely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you, bud?
I don't.
I didn't think so. God.
Oh,
we start these off so perfectly. So
really
pristinely, so immaculately.
Yes.
That the listeners have to send us their questions. They've got so many. They're bubbling with them. They can't not send us questions.
But Shika Senpai, where would they send those questions? He's so mad at me, audience. He's glaring at me.
Immediately. If they wanted to send us their good questions, they could send it to loredumpquestions@gmail.com. Or you can find us on one of our two social medias, Instagram and Twitter, at the Lore Dump.
Nani?
And
That's
same.
Japanese for
We're done with the anime now. We're done with it. It's gone. I threw it out the window. It was tied up. There's no way that anyone can escape that. Except for the main protagonist. Oh no.
We'll bring it back, audience. Don't worry.
It'll come back at the end, I swear.
There will be weeb stuff yet, my friends.
Anyways.
So yes, they can do that though. We kind of derailed, but you can absolutely send your questions to our amazing social media or email accounts, just like Sean said.
We'll definitely read them.
So
because we can read. Unlike your party's barbarian, we know how to read.
You're setting that expectation a little high.
It's every barbarian in every party, I almost guarantee you. We're going to get a few comments saying, oh, my barbarian knows how to read. You're the outlier. You're weird. No, don't say that. That's rude. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
None of my characters can read. Absolutely none of them.
You'd be surprised how much I actually make that a thing.
It's an easy way to not have to take notes.
Oh, it's my go-to every time. I'm just like, what's that? Oh, this is where I reveal my brilliance. I am a stupid.
I'm dumb. I can't do the things you want me to do, storytellers.
I may have 13 intelligence, but I am a dumbo. So my character also is dumbo.
Yes, I have experienced that and participated in it myself. Oh, good times.
Hey, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Josh?
Hey, Sean. Do you know what we're talking about, Sean? We're talking about the governess. Excuse me, the governess.
Yes.
We are talking about the other side.
Ooh,
yes. The other side, my friends, is the region, an extra plane of space that we have yet to define and will be defining today in our world. This space is where the original source deity for all of our other gods in this world came from. Now, lore-wise... Go ahead. No, I want to hear your comment.
This is the first time we're stepping off this world to create something. We're going outside the box. We're breaking that taco shell. Think outside the bell. Or the bun.
Not a sponsor.
Finger licking good.
Just mix KFC and Taco Bell.
Well, no, because KFC doesn't have that anymore, so I can claim it. We can claim finger licking good for the Lore Dump.
That's it.
New the Lore Dump. Finger licking good. I'm stealing it. Oh, we're
Done
stealing
deal.
it.
This episode's name is Finger Licking Good.
Confirmed.
Okay, so lore-wise, what's critically important to know here is our planet is actually an astral entity of incredible size that is currently in its egg form. And this egg was laid by an even larger and greater astral entity, and that entity is he who calls the dawn, aka the astral chicken. Now, the astral chicken was floating through space and laid our planet, Toreg, before yeeting himself to the other side, because that's a funny joke. How did the chicken get to the other side? We're not entirely certain, but he got there. And when he did, he landed in this other plane, which was inhabited by celestial beings. Now, these celestial beings, in a big panic in the wake of the destruction left by the astral chicken, then sent one of their own agents back to our plane to stop this egg that had been left behind on our plane, our planet, Toreg, from hatching. And that's where our god and our entire world lore comes from for Toreg. But we, today, are going to define the other side a little bit, and it's going to be super exciting and cool.
It's going to be a real good time.
So, really, there's just a few major things we need to know about the other side. The astral chicken has been, or was there.
Or is there.
Yes. The astral chicken engaged with omnipotent and powerful astral beings that resided on the other side in a form of conflict, enough conflict to send them, or have them send their own agents back to our plane. Other than that, I guess the one other important thing to say would be the other side's agent, who was sent over and then split into the many gods of our planet, was initially one being, one very, very powerful being. So that means that the beings that reside on this plane are likely incredibly powerful, or at least some of them are.
Yes.
So that's really what we've got thus far. Where do we start with this? This is a weird one. This is unique because we're defining an entire plane.
We need to come in at the point where our lore actually intersects with this plane, yes, where the chicken goes through the planar bindings and enters the other side.
So we're narratively telling this history of this plane in a way. So
we're starting at a point, and I think we need to go in either direction from that moment.
Okay, yes, because when he hits the other side, we'll have to start defining the history of the realm. But this is our key start point. I like that. That's a good anchor for us.
So what was it pre-chicken? Let's go there.
Pre-chicken. PC.
Yeah, PC.
We're calling it. PC, the other side.
Or BC. Well, before chicken.
So conceptually, there's always these spaces that have seen like no adversity, right? Like these void-like spaces in mythos and mythology. And Sean's making a gag face at me. So do we want to do the opposite of that?
Perfect.
Well, I'm not saying perfection. What if it's purgatory? Like, what if it was fucking the most bland, vacant, and these entities just sort of floated around with incredible power that was used for nothing because they had no reason to apply it and didn't even really cognate that they had the power until the chicken burst through the wall.
Okay. Interesting.
Or flip side, they were, I don't know. Flip side would just be that they were wielding this power or raw energy, like they need to be sentient, whatever was over there. Like there needed to be some form of not necessarily civilization but existence. Like
it's incredibly hard to talk about what beings this powerful would do.
Yes.
Because there's usually, when you get a group of them together, there's nothing that they could or couldn't do.
That's why I like the apathy perspective. They have unlimited cosmic power and did
itty-bitty living space.
Nothing with it. Oh. Yeah, and itty-bitty like they were just like they were just a bunch of stoners laying around on their mom's basement couch getting high.
They literally just existed.
Yeah, they were just there.
Okay, so there was just void where they hung out, like their clubhouse.
Yeah.
So how many of them were there? Was this an entire plane devoted to like 6 people? Or like 1,000 of these things? Like what's going on with these things?
Well, we've established that So our entity that came from the other side, our source god, split itself into more gods. What if this is a thing that is just a potent mass of potential that is sentient but can parse itself out, and that god was a piece of this god? What it does is mechanically give potential for homebrewing DMs in our world to pluck any god they want out of this astral entity on the other side. If they need to bring another god over, they say, it just parsed itself out.
So the entire plane is essentially a deity.
Yes, it's
It's
own...
one singular divine sentience.
It is a reality that is a sentience.
I like that.
That's new. Like, I don't know of, I'm sure it's out there in sci-fi and fantasy, but I don't know of a literal reality that is sentient. Like, the entire reality in and of itself is a sentience.
Okay, so this voidless space of sentience essentially was invaded by this astral chicken monster.
Yes.
And it just sort of caused destruction all throughout this person's essentially body.
Yes.
It started ripping this body apart. So it sent a piece of itself through the hole that the chicken made to try and like see what the fuck was over there. Like, are more of these things coming? Like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, it's like a scouting party of its own existence. But I think we need to set up some rules around this thing. I think once it's split a piece of itself off, that piece can't come back.
Oh, fully.
Yeah.
Well, you mean can't come back to its own being, or can't come back to the plane?
I think its own being. Although, that would be an interesting mechanic as well. I don't know. Like, if the deities could not come back to this greater entity's plane. I don't know.
I definitely like the idea that it can't go back, like, into that ethereal mass.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely can't become like it. Maybe if it goes back to the other side, they're just there, like the astral chicken is there.
Yeah, they're just like in the wake of this chicken. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah, like a cancer of sorts. Like they're infecting this reality's existence.
Yeah, almost like a paradox.
Yeah, like
now two of this thing exist in its space.
Yeah, and that starts to tear the entity apart.
This is strange. I like it.
This is like mind-bendy stuff. This is real deep mythos, deep lore.
So my mind immediately pictures Squidward when he goes to that time travel thing, and he's just like, alone. That's what I'm picturing this thing as. Is that what it looks like? Or is there like actual topography? Is there...
I'm picturing like a vacant void until the entity decides that there's not a vacant void.
And so it can create its own.
Yeah, it can create whatever it wants. Like, if somehow a mortal were to get yeeted into this plane of existence, there would be nothing until the entity recognized the mortal and decided that there was something there.
That's cool.
I also think it's outside of time.
That also would make sense. I like that idea.
Like, a mortal could get yeeted to this plane and sit on the plane for decades and millennia before the entity realized it was there, because mortals are so insignificant and inconsequential, and they wouldn't age inside that plane either. Like, they would just be in stasis. I like that. Because it's almost like, you know when things get banished? Yeah. If they're native to the plane they're on, it just says they appear in like a voidless, harmless pocket dimension. They all get banished to the other side. They all get banished to the other side.
Yeah.
And our casters and arcane theorists and magicians and wizards have no idea where banished individuals go.
Exactly.
They don't know. They're just like,
it's a pocket thing. I don't know. It's like
it's a
voidless nothing.
Yeah.
What do you want from me?
Little do they know, that where they're actually eating this person is into the body of an astral god.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. I
So
like
you
that
can
very
do you
much.
can do cool things with nothingness concepts. You can.
Well,
Just
that is very much not nothing.
Yeah, that's true. It is something.
Everything is one thing.
Yeah, it's very much a thing.
Yeah. Wow. I almost like as a defense mechanism, if anything accidentally comes into this plane, it would like disguise itself as whatever plane they think they're from, or like it thinks they're from. Like it just turns itself into something else entirely.
So it could as a defense mechanism become a replica of the Feywild if Greg were to accidentally get yeeted into this plane.
Yeah.
And
or if
Greg
like,
would be like, sorry, go ahead.
Or like say like the party, accidentally jumps into this thing, and for some reason it's aware of them showing up on it. It could, that white void that they're like teleporting through could eventually fade into just a copy of their planet, and they're like, this is strange. Things are slightly askew and like off from what they know because this thing is just replicating what it assumes they live like.
So the dungeon master in my mind just came up with this terrible adventure where they get yeeted into this other side, and all the players are wandering around this dimension that is uncannily like their own, but everyone's face is just a blank void. Like for some reason that's like
eyes and mouths.
every time they turn around and try to talk to somebody, there's just a faceless,
and every person has the same voice.
exact same voice. Yeah, like
That's
this
so
weird
good.
like puppet
like
dimension. Oh, that'd be terrifying.
That'd be pretty good. There's a lot of good ways you can use this blank slate
Yeah,
to sort of make your own. It's almost like a make your own dimension.
it really
with
is.
a few setup rules.
Yeah, like we've defined hooks to our world,
Mhm.
and then said, okay, homebrewers, do what you will with this dimension.
Okay, so this is a perfect cutoff point to like just saw into a little bit and then cut that piece off. That's if you want to use this for yourself in your homebrew games. You don't have to,
Yeah,
but you can use that part as like a standalone dimension you can go to.
yeah. What should we call this?
Oh, I don't know.
Do we just call it the other side?
I like keeping it vague like the other side.
I
I don't think this thing would have a name.
Yeah, that's the implication, right? Is there is no name.
Yeah.
So the closest people have come to is this is the other side of existence.
People always like theorize about like, oh, when you go to death, it's like this, or there's nothing. It's like, oh, I must have died. This is the other side of life.
Yeah.
Is nothing.
Yeah, this is the void, the other side.
This sucks.
Yeah.
And a huge voice goes, excuse me. Actually, hold up.
This is my body.
Fuck you, actually.
Are you shaming me?
I didn't know I had emotions until you called me fat. So
You brought them here, and now I hate you.
Oh my god, that would be a fun little mission.
Imagine
Bringing
the
this thing's
entire
emotion.
existence that you're in despises you.
Yeah, what else? Like, add some sort of fantasy element to it, though. That's my APK.
Oh, wow, that was sad.
No, it's fine.
Do we need to hold on?
No, nope. We cut
Therapy
it off.
moment.
We
Let's
cut it off.
talk about your emotions.
We cut it
Sean.
off.
How does this make you feel?
That's me sawing it away.
Oh, my
You're on an
arm!
iceberg that I'm sawing away into the ocean.
Bye.
Right, now that he's gone. Welcome to the governess's lore dump. Josh, come back. I can't do this alone.
I'm so far away, Sean. Hold on. Splash! Swim, 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 swim. Okay, I'm back, everybody.
That was very impressive. You're so strong with the swimming.
I swim fast in this freezing cold iceberg water.
What is happening?
Don't
So
know. Where
we've
were we?
sawed off that dimension part. That's cut away for anyone to use freely.
Mhm.
Where it's different for our world perspective and our world lore is the chicken sort of rammed itself through the dimension into this place.
So
What happened?
Here's the grand question, or the first question for me, and really the entire joke that has been this podcast thus far. Why? Why did the chicken go to the other side?
No, it's why did the chicken cross the road? But why did the chicken cross the plane?
Why did the chicken cross the plane to get to the other side? Maybe that is just the reason. It just wanted to get to the other side.
It didn't know what it was doing?
I like to think that the chicken is pretty stupid.
I like to think that it's just a mindless cosmic beast that is too strong and too stupid for its own good.
Yeah, like it can will reality to bend for it,
Yeah.
But it has no cognition as to how or why it does it.
I picture the chicken almost like Galactus. Like, he's just eating planets. That's it. That's all.
Yeah,
He's like, go there and I'm going to eat that planet. Go make it ready for me. Nom, 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 nom.
What if this is a temporal event? What if an astral chicken has never died before? And this is one of our astral chicken is the oldest astral chicken in existence. And it's decided its time is up. It's done. It's tired of eating planets and floating through the universe and crapping out planets. It's donezo. And it goes, I can't not exist. How do I not exist? And so in its attempt to not exist anymore, it forces itself to the other side.
I like that.
Like it's trying to old Yeller itself or something.
I like it. Like this egg is its last like bit of whatever. It's the last thing it can do before it's like basically dying.
Yeah.
So it shits out this egg.
Mm-hmm.
Rams through the planar divide. And then because there is no time here, it's almost in a constant state of dying. So it almost trapped itself.
Too.
It almost trapped itself in this constant like trap where it's like it doesn't want to die, but now it is in a constant state of dying and it can't die.
Well, it wants to not exist, but it's stuck existing on the edge of death but unable to die.
Forever.
And it is thrashing around and causing absolute chaos within the other side.
Has that essence or that sort of presence corrupted this individual, almost like a tumor?
Yeah, there's definitely sickness within the other side. This thing, it does not belong there.
So what would sickness look like in a void?
Realities coming into existence and out of existence constantly in spaces within the void. Outside of its control. The astral chicken is in a feral fit of pain and despair, manifesting realities within the other side. And the other side, I think, doesn't like foreign objects. It likes not having anything within it.
So this is actually an interesting thought. Because it can't die and it's in a weakened state, it is constantly trying to burst out of this dimension like it came in, but it doesn't have the strength to get back out anymore. It used too much of that getting in, so it's just poking holes into other dimensions that are then bleeding into this one.
Oh, that's so good!
So it's literally every other dimension is just sort of storming and bleeding together inside this one.
So you'll be crossing through the void, and all of a sudden, the fire plane will be manifesting above you in the sky, looking downwards, and primordial elements will be falling into the void because
it'll have the abyss, it'll have like the 9 hells, the Feywild, every elemental plane, the astral sea will be bleeding in. Like everything will just be coalescing in this other side, where it is just this roiling mess that still has technically an entity that controls it all and is basically its body is being filled with these other planes.
Consider this.
Ooh.
Those holes, because this creature exists outside of time, can exist anywhere in time and space.
Ooh. That is very good.
So now when somebody wants to pull out your GIF with the hippos with the guns or whatever into our world, they now have a mechanism for accidental planar shift through time.
Well, because they can exist at any moment in time, they could just randomly show up on other planes too. Like there could just be like a hole that goes and just shows up and is like there for 2 or 3 minutes, and things just come out of it, and then it just closes on its own and it's done.
Yeah.
There's no sign that it was ever there. I love that.
Yeah, like just these planar rifts can occur. And this is on a grand scale, again, outside of time and space. So you could never see it in an entire adventuring party's lifespan or millennia. Or this could be something that is very immediate. Like it could be a dire threat.
Or, it could be the focus of the campaign. Like this chicken has been doing this for so long that that plane is about to rupture and destroy every other plane.
Yeah, like that could be like your level 20 plus grand campaign experience.
Kill the chicken.
There is get
Choke
the chicken
that
out of the
chicken!
plane. They get the chicken out of the other side.
Oh man. Yeah, and then allow it to heal itself before it literally is ripped apart from the inside out.
Yeah. Like you could do all kinds of cool planar
That's pretty
shifting
cool.
stuff.
I like that.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
good. Okay.
Damn.
And again, you could still be ported into the other side and exist there for centuries and see nothing. Like it could just, like again, this is not happening. Even if the planar, like even if the astral chicken is poking a hole right next to you in the other side, time and space doesn't exist. So you don't, next to you doesn't really exist. Like you don't know. Like the whole concept is very metaphysical.
Yeah, it's very abstract, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's so good.
Ooh, that's spicy. Okay, so we know why our chicken is there to die, but it can't. And it can't get out.
Pretty much.
And that has ramifications on the world around it as well.
It's very good.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay.
Man, I like this. I like this a lot.
This is really good. What do we need to define anything else on the other side? I like how the challenge we tackled today was what happens when you start with absolutely nothing. Like the concept is nothing. And we made that concept something huge.
Something that is nothing.
Yeah. Like literally the challenge was like when somebody sits down and says, I got nothing. We took nothing.
We made it something.
In its definition in 25 minutes or less and made it something. That's really good. So there you go, guys.
Here's my question. Something we can expand on a little bit to sort of drip down into our other already established lores.
Yeah. Since
this plane that's being essentially slowly bleeding out and dying, since that is that has sent its consciousness to this plane, and that consciousness had split into all the gods, are they aware of this on any level? Do they know, or are they just completely unaware that this is happening? And if, things start to go weird, they might be like, hang on a second.
Do our gods know the other side exists?
I would say no.
Yeah. I don't think they do.
They might not even remember their life as one individual being. They may have all just, woken up and been like, who are you?
The prime deity recalls, but the prime deity no longer exists. Mm-hmm. And the memories last through one split. So if another god splits itself again, it loses the memories that the prime deity held, and so on and so forth. Like, your powers only last through or your memories only last through an incarnation.
You're essentially giving up your life to create other lives.
Yes.
So it's not like, I'm going to turn into these two different people. You're literally like, I no longer exist, and I'm giving that existence to these two separate things.
That's so good. Yeah. I don't think they know.
That's good. I like that. I don't want them to know.
I think they know of, well, though. They have to know, they have to know to some extent, because their purpose here is to maintain the balance on the egg. They have to know something about the astral chicken, and that it is a threat to something important to them. So backtracking a little bit from a logic perspective,
so
the gods need to know that they have to maintain this egg and keep it from hatching or exploding, which means they have to know that the astral chicken is a threat.
They don't have to, technically. Because what if this thing split itself and basically almost like instinctually, because of the fear it had, it bled into these entities. And they don't know why they do what they do. They know this thing is alive because they've witnessed it when, they stopped doing their job. It would get a little bit out of control. And
they can see the thing growing in the core, in the yolk.
They don't necessarily need to be told, that's a big egg. It came from a big chicken who's over here. You know what I mean?
So you're saying they're terrified, that they've inherited those feelings of terror, and they are cognizant of what is there, so they are safeguarding it.
They almost
Okay.
woke up from that split with this instinct to prevent this egg from like getting bigger and
And I
living.
think that the dungeon masters can decide also a little bit who
That's true.
knows what too with this one, because if you want to, from a mechanical perspective, if you did want to do this grand, the world is ending and we have this giant chicken in the other plane, the easiest way to make that information accessible to the players would be through deities that could explain a little bit. You know what I mean? So you could kind of
Yeah.
decide how you want to. But I do like that as like a general rule. They're not entirely certain what's over there. Maybe they know they came from someplace else.
Yeah. If anyone has any idea, it's that Grand Archivist god. It's
Yeah.
like pulling all the information together.
Ooh, yeah. The
I mean,
points
there's
of
like
light, storing it in the stars guy.
there's like literally hidden stars or constellations that they've stored secret information in, like this. Like
Yeah.
they've sort of pieced together what this thing is and what happened and why.
Ooh, cool
And they're
side
like,
lore thing.
Yeesh, let's just put that over here on the back burner. They don't really know about that.
Yeah, like he was going to store a thing in the stars and he noticed a point of light that wasn't supposed to be there, and it was a tear from
the
other side, and he goes, "What's that?" Like that's cool. Like some
that.
gods have an inkling.
They've noticed things.
Yeah. And it aligns
Now,
with their own cognition of the world as it is.
Yes, very very accurate. Now, do any individuals on the planet know? Is there like some sort of something? Not like people, not like a group of people, not like a cult or anything. Is there like maybe just because we've done one so recently, are there any patrons, Warlock patrons that would know about this and want to get there and know about it? Or are there any like powerful people that have traveled there and then been lucky enough to travel back? Like Mordenkainen, plane travelers. Has anyone been to the other side?
I think if you intentionally go to the other side, it's very hard to get out, which is the problem the chicken's having.
It's never intentional because no one knows about it. They see a portal, they're like, oh shit, jump into it real quick. Or like,
right.
A portal shows up in like a desperate moment. They jump into it to survive. They end up in this weird mix of thousands of different planes bleeding together. They have no idea because it's timeless. They live there for 50, 60, 70 years. And then another portal shows up and they're like, here's my ticket out of here. Yep.
Okay. I think we're about to develop a lore character.
Oh.
There was an early elf or dwarf, because we've established them as our early mortal races on the planet, or relatively mortal races, who stepped into that void. And they only recently stepped out.
Ah, I like that. And I would like if it was an elf, because that would just make their lifespan insane.
Yes, they have existed for eons.
Yeah.
But also just a single moment in some ways as well.
Yes.
And I think that somehow they've become a prominent figure, like in the elven society, like a leader.
While they were gone, or when they came back?
When they came back.
Oh, interesting. I like that.
Yeah. I think there is some sort of figure who has extraplanar knowledge, who is technically mortal, and they are in a position of prestige now, and it's all a big veiled secret of theirs. But people are like, there's something weird about this dude. Like, he just came out of nowhere, and he knows things about this planet's history. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, the other races on this planet that are not elves are a surprise to him. Because it was essentially...
Actually, yeah, that's a very good point.
He came back and he's like, holy
He disappeared, like,
buckets.
before there were multiple gods.
Yeah. Like, when the planet was a primordial soup, that's what he saw.
Yeah.
And then he stepped into a portal that was created by the chicken popping through and yeeted some point in time. He stepped through it, existed in this void, cognizant within his own head for both seconds and eons.
Yeah.
And then stepped back into this reality hundreds, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years later.
Yes. and was like, "What did I miss?"
What's
He
going
was
on?
their Thomas Jefferson.
Whoa, what the heck is this? What are these silly, stubby-eared, short-lived people? Humans?
We breed with the humans? No.
Which means we have another figure. I think that's number 3, because we've got Xander, we've got the leader of the Tieflings, and we've got this guy.
Yeah, and that elf wouldn't know what other races are, any of them, because even dwarves didn't exist back then.
And he probably
elves
has
were first.
An inherent xenophobia that is popular among many sects of the elves who are known to be somewhat xenophobic.
He's not a great guy, I will say that. Being trapped alone in these other planes for eons, he'd be not a great dude.
Yeah, I like to think he's very intelligent and calculating, and also batshit crazy.
Batshit crazy, and he actually would have a good amount of information on every other plane of existence.
Yeah,
because he's been trapped in a place where they all exist, and he's been seen. Well, he probably hasn't seen another portal, like because it's so ridiculously odd over there, time and space. He hasn't seen another portal for that long. Otherwise, he would have jumped through it.
Right, but at a distance, or maybe even some of the information that, oh no, he's been inside the other side, which is his own sentience, so long that he gleamed some of the other side's information into his own mind.
Oh,
things that the other side knew saturated into this elf figure.
That's interesting.
It's like sitting in soup and you come out smelling like soup.
That's very good. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. What a good beautiful character.
He's going to be interesting. Do we want to try and name her, or should we save him for later? Save him for later.
Save him for later.
Yeah, save him for later.
Yeah.
I like him. We got some good characters here. I'm excited for this. Okay. I think we've wrapped it up pretty good, Sean.
That's a pretty good wrap. That's a pretty good wrap on that's a wrap on the other side.
It's got some really good implications. It's got some world hooks. It's got some physics. It's got some explanations of the planes, and it builds things out. I love it. I love it so much.
At this point, it's definitely something we could use in the future to be like, oh yeah, the other side. Oh yeah, the other side.
Yeah, great. This is a really good excuse for us.
Yeah.
Well, that means that it is question asking time.
Boop 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 boop. Nice.
I got
the delay on that was instant.
Yeah, it was perfection. Okay, so our question comes from one of our amazing players and friends from the Discord for Twee, just a singing geek. And they ask us, my players just leveled up, and one asked me about the possibility of adding a feat for flavor as a freebie and still getting the ability score improvement.
Oh no.
And I'm curious to know your opinions, your being me and you, Sean. On one hand, I feel like there are some feats where that wouldn't be game-breaking / too OP, but I also don't know if I want to have to police that choice, because if I give her the go-ahead, I definitely offer the option to the rest of the players. I don't want to just say no, but I also don't know if I want to take each feat on a case-by-case basis. It's a big question. It's a good question.
It is a good question.
Thank you, Just a Singing Geek.
Thank you very much. I think, there's a good answer that you've already sort of come up with. That you already know that if you say yes, you have to offer to the rest of the table, which is very good. I like to see that in there because it's only fair that if someone gets something, the rest of the table is offered the choice as well. I don't love the idea of free feats because they're very strong, depending on what it is. If it's something like Keen Mind, personally, I don't give a shit. As long as you scrap the bonus you get to the ability score. Because there's a lot of feats like that where it's like, oh, up your wisdom by 1, also you get all this other shit. You know? What about you?
For me, I have two schools of thought.
It's all bad.
If you open it, all my thoughts are bad. If you open it up to the table, like Sean said, excellent, fantastic, wonderful. Mm-hmm. You, as the DM, are balancing to that. And that is basically what you touched upon. If you give them access like that, there will be power differentials, unless you do things like mitigating the ability score improvement and stuff like that as well, which you can do. But there will be power differentials that you need to mitigate for. You're already like managing that, so it's not a huge deal, but it is more work to give yourself. Just kind of be cognizant of that, right? Because if one person gets a free feat, what it's going to turn into is everyone gets a free feat, because why would you not take that, right? You're already getting your level up and then a free feat. So now if you say no to one feat and you're doing it a case by case, they're just going to go pick a different feat that you agree to, because that's really the only way to do it fairly. So now you're just giving everybody a free feat. Yeah. And if everyone gets a free feat, then you're balancing to the party. That's really what that like logic, that's how that's going to play out. On the flip side, you could just tell them no and give them an item that does the function of the feat that they want.
No, don't do that. Don't do
Why
that.
not?
That's giving in.
No, I'm not. I'm saying like, so the way you do it is if they want to do something really bad with their character, like, you know, they want to be able to recall, let's use Keymind, recall all the information that you've given them at any point, but they don't want to spend the feat on it. If you give them an item that has like a limited number of charges, or they have to work to get, right? I have handed out feats as rewards for doing something successfully in a campaign before. And you could do that like with items as well. Like, you just treat it like that. Treat it as like let's say they've completed an arc. Hey, you know what? You just researched for 3 years as a character in a college, and yeah, you did develop the Keen Mind feat. You could do it like that. Or again, you just defeated this huge dungeon, and you've picked up this scroll that allows you to recall information when you use it once a day. Like, you can balance to that. You can work feats into the world from a lore perspective within items or within role playing that they've done or challenges that they've defeated. I guess that's the other option.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Or say no.
Because here's the problem I'm having is the players I usually play with off stream, my home games, they would only be asking for this if they were trying to make their character very powerful.
Except for me.
Well, that's yet to be seen. I'm kidding. But usually, when a player asks this, even if they present it in a like, oh, my character just wants to do this kind of way, there could also be like but it also works this way that you don't know about when I get another level and I'll get a really powerful spell or something.
That is a question I always ask. Sean's seen me do this. Why do you want it?
Yeah, tell me
and
why.
Don't give me your I just think it'd be cool, because we definitely have a couple friends who are real good at this.
Yeah, look at you, Martin.
Yeah.
Kid, love you, buddy.
We love you so much. You're amazing. But they always have this like, they're like, hey, I have an idea, and you're like, what is it? And they rattle it off, and you go, you can't logically figure out what they're thinking because they're super geniuses and really good at this. And you're like, okay, what do you want to do with it? And then find out why they really want it.
My favorite thing recently is every time is that, hey, I have a new character idea. I was like, you can't be the undead warlock. It's like, all right, never mind. But yes, my
nothing against those players. Just to be clear,
no.
You know,
just I know Martin, and I know what he's trying to do in those situations. And if I'm willing to allow it, I'll allow it. But usually, no, because I know what you're trying to get at.
But Sean touches down on the key there, which is know your players, which we've said 100 times before. Know your players. If you know that they're either too absent-minded, like me, to remember to use things that allow them to abuse the game, or if they like roleplay so heavily that it will never be a factor, maybe that is going to work.
Yeah.
Like
if they want to get grappler just so they can get into bar fights and, you know, muscle guys to the ground, that's funny. If they're looking to build some insane barbarian build that's like, oh, I grapple the dragon to the ground and, you know, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, you're shitty.
And if then the following logic is, do I have to give this to the whole table? The way to navigate not giving it to the whole table is to make it a reward. And I have literally, like, I had a cleric who was clearly feeling very underpowered compared to the rest of his party. And so through him training at his temple, which he roleplayed through several sessions, I gave him, I think it was like the Shield Master feat or something like that,
Ooh.
which was just a buff. Like, it was a boon to him. It was
a good one.
Thought out for him as a player, and he loved it, and it balanced out his class, and it made him feel a little more valid in his choice, right? So you can do that. Feats can be rewards.
I will say there is one thing on here that I see as an issue. Everything we're saying up here is fine if you're willing to do that with your player, but you specifically mentioned you don't want to police it, which is, I mean, it's kind of your job to do that, unfortunately. Yeah. Those are the things you have to consider. If you want to risk it, and this usually tends to potentially lead to hurt feelings, but if you want to allow it, see how it goes, and at any point in the future, if it doesn't work out, or you see it's a little too powerful or a little obnoxious for everyone else playing, you can just be like, we're going to take that away. I'm going to take that one back. That one's my mulligan. Which can
I reserve the right to change my mind.
Right, but I'm just saying, getting something approved and then taken away, that tends to hurt someone more than just saying no up front.
Yes.
Because at least they're willing for you to say no. But if you say yes and then later it's a no, that tends to hurt more than if it's just a straight out no up front.
An experienced DM, and something that DM should practice, is also saying no gracefully. Players will push the limits no matter what, no matter how much they respect you. And so, like, even in the game, like, I've had players say, like, can this be this role? And I've said, nope. And they've said, come on, it's for this reason. And I've said, I'm not changing that. That is the ruling I've made. And I say it respectfully and kindly to them. So it's a skill to practice too, but it applies to the same thing. Like, you can say no in a way that all parties are respected.
I do that to you constantly.
Yeah, Sean is constantly like, can it be this instead? And I'm like...
You mean wisdom for stealth, right?
Nope. As the bad meme funny example, yes. You do that.
Well, yeah. It's just a funny joke, but it could be taken seriously in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Like, it does happen in the real world.
There is a very powerful thing that I don't think a lot of DMs actually practice, because there are technically 3 options. There's yes, no, and no but. Like, you say, I'm not going to allow that, but I can take this. And the one thing that jumped into my mind is, if you want to do it and it's like sort of on the level, give them 1 ability score increase. Give them a +1 to 1 ability score, and then let them take a feat. Instead of giving them a +2 or 2 +1s to do, you take away one of those, you give them something else. Give them like one of the, like, if they pick one of the smaller feats, say, okay, but I'm taking away one of your +1s.
Which is the item example too. Like,
well, yeah, that too.
The item could give them a portion of a feat. It doesn't have to give them the whole thing, right?
But if I had to make it a 2-min slot for a feat, I'd kill somebody. I'm just saying that as a player, I would kill someone who's like, oh, the passive effect I want, stuck on a ring. Shit!
Tough freaking cookies. Now you have to manage your resources, sucker. Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.
No!
What? You have to make choices in your fantasy game about making choices?
What?
My God.
I'll kill you. No. But it is, there is the compromise option where it's not just yes or no. Yeah. There is a middle ground where you figure out a way that works for both of you. So they don't get everything they want and you don't completely shoot them down.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is also a tactic of saying no gracefully too. Like, give them an out. Give them an option.
Yeah. I don't know. But my favorite way to do it would probably be to have them train for the feat and just let them take the plus now and then get the feat as you level up or as you play more. Yeah. That seems to be the better option.
That's such a good way to do it. Not only is it is so flavorful. It adds so much to your game, and it is a good way to get players who aren't role-playing to role-play, because all of a sudden they go, here's this tangible statistical advantage to me role playing, hanging out with my clerical order. Like it's a really good tactic. Definitely consider it.
If they're learning from someone, it gives them a mentor character, and those characters tend to be the most fulfilling NPCs that a person interacts with.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
Feats are cool. Don't give them away for free. That's my PSA jingle.
And void the UA feeds.
Yeah, UA feats, not until they're in a book. Sorry.
Yeah, let them be in a book. Jesus. Oh, man.
Except for Chef. Anyone who wants to take Chef, that's fine. I
have a question. Yeah, that's a cool one. I have a question for you. Have you ever
email
had
it to
anybody...
me? No, email it to me. You're not above anyone
else. Hold on. I'm emailing you this right now.
You can't jump the line like this. This is blasphemy.
Okay, hit send.
Oh, hey, okay. I have an email. Yeah, I just got one, and it... Oh, here's an email from Josh, and it says...
Hey, Sean, it's me, Josh, the governor. You can use my name if you want to when you ask this question.
Scroll down.
Well, so I'm wondering, have you ever had anybody ask you to bring in a homebrew feat? And what was your response to that?
Oh, yeah, that was a very good question and a very interesting self-reading email. Google Mail's really doing good.
Well done, Google Mail.
Google
that guy
Mail.
Sounds like an idiot, though. Man, his voice.
Who, the guy who read the email or the guy who called Gmail Google Mail?
Both.
That's me on that one. I have never had someone bring to me like a homemade feat. I've had people bring up like, oh, this is a feat that exists in, 3.5 or Pathfinder or something that I want to add to my character. Usually no, because the game wasn't balanced to have fucking feats from other games in it.
Yeah.
But you could definitely have that conversation and like adjust it to bring into this game and bring homemade feats in. The thing I hate is when people are like, hey, I found this blood wizard on Reddit and I want to play it, and it's like, okay, well, you need to go find another table because there's no way I'm letting you play some sort of broken Reddit class on my fucking game.
Yeah. Well, like a lot of the time, like they bring this feat and they put it in front of you and you go, this is the dual wield feat with extra stats on it. Like it's the same with a lot of the homebrew classes. This is the Celestial Warlock with extra stats put on it.
Yeah.
I like, and so truly there is a lot you can do by just changing some fluff rather than having an entire new feat added. And so a lot of the time your no but is, well, how about you take this feat that already does that and we just say it looks like this.
Yes.
Problem solved.
Usually they bring it to you because it's like, oh, yeah, here's the dual wielder feat I found online. I think it's much better. It's like, well, yeah, you get an extra 2 attacks a turn.
Of course you think it's better.
Fuck you. Actually, why don't you get off of my desk or whatever?
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's the part I hate the most, where it's like, you're clearly trying to just make yourself stronger, and that would be fun for everyone else at the table. Because you would be the cool guy, you'd be their Kirito, and everyone else would be the rest of Sword Art Online.
Dibs on Asuna.
Yeah. Dibs on any other anime.
Fair.
Told you they come back.
Hey, we brought the anime back. Yes, score.
Hey.
It happened organically, and it's your fault.
Oh, no.
You did this.
We have to have our ED play at the end of this.
Dooba-doo-boop.
It's our cool opening and exit.
Oh, my God. Okay.
But I think we answered that question. Do we have a second question? Because I don't think we...
I think we don't. I think we're good. I
was going to say, we don't have time for it.
The second question was my question, and it was a damn good question.
Oh, yeah. I see it right there. Next time, email ahead of time so it's, looks a little less nepotism-y.
Next time, get a better voice actor to read your emails out loud.
That wasn't my email.
Shut up. Hey.
What?
If people wanted to submit emails like I failed to do until the last minute, where would they submit it, Sean?
Oh, well, they would go to lordumquestions at googlemail.com, otherwise known as lordumquestions at gmail.com.
Type googlemail.com into your address line, please.
Or they can do it at our social medias at the Lordump. Instagram and Twitter. That's it.
That's it.
Those
That's our
are the only
podcast.
two places.
That's wow. Those are good.
Was it good?
It was so good. You did that so well. It's scary how good you are at things, Sean.
Hey, thanks. Thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for being here. Be on the lookout for the car radio that's outside my apartment right now. It's playing some really hot beats, but not as hot as this one. Doo ba doo boo boo ba doo boo 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 ba doo.
Beep, beep, beep. Do you think it's over yet? Who knows? I think we got off the beat.
I usually just keep going until you give me stuff to put at the end. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.